Well, hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And Meg too. It happened. It's a thing. Yeah. So in my infinite wisdom, in trying to complete this, we are now on the Meg 2 or Meg 2. The thing just says Meg 2 on it. I don't know. I don't see no the. That's not the best anyway, but it just says Meg 2. Um, Jason Statham's back, and now there are two giant megalodon sharks, which I still think are too small. I said this in the first one. Like, megalodons were huge. Like, their entire mouth could fit over a building. And these sharks don't seem that much bigger than Jaws to me. And I thought, okay, they could fix that in this. Like, wasn't there a teaser for the first one where someone's in the water and there's this gigantic ass row of teeth? But the shark is never that big. Like, at all. It just, it's never that big. I've heard complaints about this movie. They say it's boring. They say the best part is the last 20 to 30 minutes, which is true. But to those people who keep giving negative reviews to this movie, calling it boring, it's focusing too much on the human characters. This should be a slogfest. Why isn't it? Why can't they just take the idea of Jason Statham fighting a shark and make that the whole movie? Because these are based on books. Okay? When the first one came out, one of the big complaints was they focused too much on the human characters. Then, when this one came out, they once again are complaining that there's too much focus on the human characters. People, these are based off books. The books focus on the human characters. Alright? Like, imagine back in 1993 when Jurassic Park came out and they're like, oh no, we just want to see dinosaurs killing people. But they're based off books, which is not what those are about. And in 1993, no one knew what to think of Jurassic Park. But nowadays, everyone is so desensitized to these type of movies. They've seen too many Sharknadoes, too many Lavalantulas, too many of those Z-grade asylum flicks, creature features, that they're desensitized to movies that could have some kind of substance to them. I enjoyed the first Meg, and I enjoyed this movie because I was probably one of the only people who watched the first one and didn't complain about the human characters because I actually liked them. I like Jason Statham. He's one of my favorite action stars, right? I love the guy. So, yes. And I was into the human drama of this film. I'm not just there for the schlocky action like most people were. Like, okay, I can go in this and turn my head off. No, that's not what these movies are, and you need to accept that. These are based off of books. If they were just, oh, we want a giant ass shark and Jason Statham, all that stuff, yeah, sure, you could do that. You could turn it off. Be honest though, for that kind of movie, you need like a D grade, someone like a Steve Gutenberg or I don't know, maybe even a Steven Seagal at this point. He's so downgraded. Like, one of those action stars, cheesy action stars from the 80s, like Fred Williamson, versus the shark. You know what I mean? One of those, cheesy things. You know, just saying. Look for something like that. This is a big budget film put on by a major studio with a major star in the lead role. You should not go into this movie expecting schlock because that's not what it is. Sure, the last 20 to 30 minutes is schlocky stuff. Is the stuff you came to see. They know that. But they're basing this off a book. From what I skimmed through on Wikipedia, they don't go like tit for tat with the story of the book because there's very different variables. But they're going to focus on the human characters. This movie takes place 4 years. 5 years, 2023. 5 years. The book was 4 years. And I did have issues with some of the things, namely, 3 characters are missing from the story now. Jessica McNamee's character, who was Jonas's ex-wife, is no longer around, as is, there's another character that is gone. Forgot what they were. As is, Masaoka died. The fat guy, I think he survived, but he's not here. And they got rid of one more character besides Lai Bingbing, who's also gone. So Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose is also not here, although I don't think she has much connection with Warner Brothers since she just left Batwoman. It didn't ruin that show, at least for most people. That was supposed to be more clean than it was. That's cold. I just took this out of the fridge before I started the video. And yes, Lai Bingbing is gone. Killed off screen. Yeah. And so now you have Jason Statham as a single father taking care of Mei Ling. And her uncle is also there. This new guy who is a great character. He seems like just corporate guy at the beginning. But he ends up being a pretty good character towards the end. Yeah. You do get the return of the Mac. Once again, turn up the Mac. Oh my God, return up the Mac. And then that is Cliff Curtis's character. And DJ, played by Paige Kennedy. Which, if I had to pick one side character to come back from the last one, DJ's the one. And we do find out that things have changed since the last film. He knows how to swim now. He knows martial arts and he can use a gun. He's prepared now. I think he's also lost weight. But, I love Paige Kennedy. Anything he's in, Blue Mountain State. He's in this. He's in one of the A Leprechaun in the Hoods. I think it's the second one, which is why I probably like that one better. Hey, even freaking... Yeah, he's the... What's up, my ninja? He's that guy. What's up, my ninja? What was it? Even Rush Hour. That show, there was a Rush Hour TV show without Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. But one of my favorite characters was Paige Kennedy's character, who is Carter's cousin in that. So, yeah. And he's still pretty good in this. And you're sitting there going, you're talking about the human characters? We don't care. You don't care. I do. Because I connected with those characters in the first one. I actually cared. Because you guys were all there to see Schlockfest. And I was there to watch a movie, a film. Everyone goes, oh, this kind of movie turned my brain off. But I told you, there is stuff here. By this point, 5 years later, Jonas, which is Statham's name, unless you forget, I did, but is now doing espionage stuff, eco-friendly espionage, as he tries to take out this oil tanker who's just dumping barrels. Is that how they do that? They just dump barrels into the sea? I know that that's a real thing, but they're actually just throwing barrels in it that they... I don't know. Then we got our exposition of what happened. And this company is now owned by this woman, played by Sienna Guillory. And as soon as she walks on, I went, she's the villain. And they present this other guy, this Hispanic guy, as a villain for most of it. And it's like, yeah, but Sienna Guillory is in this movie. She's going to be the villain. And it turns out, of course she's the villain. And then in a weird, strange twist, they introduced this new character named Jess, played by Skylar Samuels, who you may know as the pop star from Drake and Josh. I want my soy latte. Yeah, her. Citrus! Her. And there's a twist where she's working with the villains, which to me didn't work. Because, well, first of all, she's the one that finds out that the sub has been sabotaged, and we got to figure it out. And then it's like, no, she did it. I'm like, it felt like they had her find it, and it was like, okay, we don't have anyone to sabotage it. Just make it her. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because why is she the one that finds it? If she's the one that sabotaged it, shouldn't Mac have been the one that found it? Wouldn't it make sense if Mac and DJ go out there, or DJ finds it? Hey man, this thing's been sabotaged, and then we find out it's her. It's really a needless twist. But yeah, so they go to this station, a little oil station in the middle of nowhere. They take the 14-year-old girl with them because that makes sense. That is my biggest question throughout the entire film is, why did they take her with them? Sure, it's her uncle's station and her stepfather is there, but why is she there? Because she's got to be a part of the movie. Sure. Oh, by the way, this movie actually opens with the teaser trailer thing with dinosaurs. And I'm sitting there going, they actually think this CG looks good? The sharks look good. But these little creatures, and I'm like, okay, if this is just for an opening thing, fine. But later, these creatures show up. There's an octopus, which looks good because you don't see the whole thing. It's octopus. And then there's these little lizard creatures that come roaming around. And it's like somebody watched Jurassic World and thought, hey, we could do that. With half the budget, but the Warner Brothers is a big studio, but I don't think it has the right funding. This is the Mag 2, and it's not Jurassic in the title. It's not going to get the funding a Jurassic movie would get if it's just called Mag 2. I'm just saying. But it does say the trench, doesn't it? It does. Okay. So they dive underneath this one station. That's where they find there's another station deep down in the trench. And so they're wearing these special suits, and they're in this submarine thing, and they find it. They eventually have to kind of try to circumnavigate the ocean floor, and they bring up a great question. What about the pressure? It's actually more about breathing. And I'm just like, what a way to just throw away something that is completely logical, like the pressure of being on the bottom of the freaking ocean, which is a real thing. It's not just a breathing thing. But this movie needs to keep going with these characters still being alive. So they just throw it, it's more of a breathing thing. And Jason Statham goes out there in the bottom of the freaking ocean, the ocean floor, which is very pressurized, and you could not move underneath. Doesn't even have a breathing apparatus. He just goes. And there's a whole situation where they're losing air. They all eventually walk across the ocean floor to get to this station which the bad guys are in, and it's the Spanish guy. I think it's the same guy with it Mortez or something like that. That was at the beginning of the movie, although he says it's been a couple years. So did that take place No, because Mac was yelling at him for it. Or chewing him out for it, I should say. I don't know. But eventually they get onto this space station. Right? And then you got two different kind of things. Space station. Underwater station. Space station. That's the third one. Meg in space. Hey, if the Sharknado movies could do it, there's your schlock. Right? So then we got like two fronts here, because they realize that everybody else on this station that they're on, Mac and DJ do, that they're working for the bad guys. They realize that their boss is one of the bad guys. So why did she send them out to that station if she knew other people were on the lower station and could possibly get caught? Why did she do that? That just crossed my mind. Excuse me. Eggs. I had eggs for breakfast. Yeah, it's confusing. It's just a little bit confusing. We got action on two fronts now. Is Jonas Mei Ling and the other two. Yeah, there's the uncle and then some other woman there. I don't know, and they're trying to escape there. While Mac and DJ are, well, kicking ass. As DJ reveals his, martial arts thing. He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, what is this? You can fight, you can swim? Yeah, I got prepared this time. I'm prepared. And if there's one criticism, it's too many. Yeah, I got this. And then going to the next door and there's someone with a gun. I think it happens like 3 times. Where they're like, yeah, we did it. And then they go to the next room and it's like, oh, okay. Happens like 3 times. Like, how many times are we going to do this? But eventually everybody gets up out of the water. They have this megalodon shark, this female one that escapes, and there's another one in the ocean. They think that it's mating, but they're not going to worry about that even at the end of the movie. Set up a sequel, of course. But then we get to the schlock part. There's another party on another island with a bunch of Chinese people. Okay, so if it's one criticism I have, it's not just about this movie. It's a lot of movies lately start having characters speaking other languages. Like Blue Beetle, there was a lot of Spanish in that movie. In this movie, there's a lot of Chinese or Mandarin. And it's like, okay, I understand you want to have equality, for your audiences that may be Chinese, maybe Spanish. But here's the thing. That's what the audio options are for. This is an American film. And I'm not against foreign films by any means. I love Gojira, right? So, but here's my issue. I like to put on a movie. I like to do stuff in the background. I've been organizing some stuff while watching this movie. But my issue is when they start speaking Chinese and they're in Chinese and I have to look at the TV to read the subtitles because they couldn't just have them speak English. I have to stop what I'm doing, sit down and look at the screen until they're done speaking Chinese. And it's one thing if, they can only speak Chinese and don't speak English. But these characters are literally speaking English followed by Chinese, then English again. And I'm like... And this only leads to one funny joke in the movie where the uncle comes running out. Where these mercenaries... It's one of those things where, DJ and Mac are being held up at gunpoint again. And by these mercenaries. And Uncle comes running out dressed as a station worker, speaking Chinese. But what he's saying is... I'm here with Jonas Taylor, and I'm here to distract you and save them. But you don't understand it because you don't speak Chinese. It's basically what he's saying. And that got me to laugh. And it was the only thing, the Chinese. But again, you got to pay attention to get that joke. Right? But, can we lay off that? Can we just say, hey, you want to hear this in Chinese? We have an option for that. You want to hear it in Spanish? We have an option for that. Do we have to have so much of another language in an American movie? It's an American movie that should be speaking freaking English. Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? I understand if you go to a different country, that's fine. But there's way too much instances of people speaking Chinese just because I'm Chinese and you're Chinese and we're going to speak Chinese. Because the uncle speaks Chinese to the niece, to Mei Ling. And it's like, okay. I'm focusing way too much on this. My issue is, okay, and nothing against people speaking other languages. But like I said, when I watch an American movie that should be in English, I shouldn't have to worry about reading subtitles because you decide to have characters speak other languages. Right? Now, I've seen it in other movies, quick here and there, but there's a big... It seems like it's increased a lot in the recent years where half the movie's in a different language. You know how much Spanish was in Blue Beetle? How much Chinese was in this? And I point these two movies out specifically because they're from the same studio. But look at Marvel. They had movies with Egyptian movies or TV shows with Egyptian, like Moon Knight, or Middle Eastern, for lack of a, for Miss Marvel. But they barely had a lot of those kind of languages because they understood their audience, right? We make these for those audiences, but we don't have to put it in their language. We're supposed to, without to, the Chinese person is going to watch this and be like, okay, that is cool, it's in my language. American person is going to be like, why is there so much about it? Make it equal, And like I said, there's options on a DVD or Blu-ray menu for you to hear it in specific languages. Like 50 different languages you can listen to, and subtitles too. So you don't need to have most of the dialogue be, or not most, but half of the dialogue, I should say. Anyway, I'm done focusing on the language thing. It just kind of irked me, as you could tell. The final act, and that's when the schlock comes in, because Trench gets penetrated, for lack of a better term. So we got two Megalodon sharks. One of them is their Haki, or whatever their name is, and the other one is a stray one. And there's little creatures and the octopus. And this is where it becomes a schlock fest. You got DJ Mac running around, and eventually it becomes Mac and the uncle as they try to get to a chopper, which was Sienna Guillory's chopper, and she gets killed by the creature. And here we have a great dialogue where he's like, Mac's like, okay, you go distract them, and I'll get the chopper. I can get the chopper, you distract them. You can't fly a chopper. Yes, I can. You have a license? Yes. Okay, just go. And he still has to distract them with a shovel, the creature, so they can get on it. And then there's a weird thing where they're filling up the gas as they're trying to fly away. And then it leads to the uncle. I don't remember his name. Sorry, it's Chinese. Mei Ling, she was in the first one. This one, Eugene, or Yumin, I don't know. He sprays these creatures with the gasoline and lights it on fire, blows the whole gas station thing up. And then you have Jonas versus the shark finally. I was like, okay, this is the final battle. And then it's revealed that Spanish guy is still alive. And I'm like, really? It's one of those things where, okay, we can finally do the shock. Oh, bad guy, human bad guy is still here too. Why is he still here? Why didn't he... you think once you leave that station, he should have died. Like, there should be an explosion, he should die. And now we focus on wrapping things up and, because we kill off Sienna Guillory, we kill off this guy, and then we just go, By the way, I forgot to mention Jess's death. That's Skylar Samuel's character. Because it's right after she's talking about, no, it's okay, we're safe down here. This glass is impenetrable. Nothing can get through it. The Meg cannot reach us. And then the Meg busts through and eats her. I like that. I think that's where the schlocky stuff starts in this. But I like that. I laughed. I'm like, well, you jinxed yourself, woman. But, yeah. So they take care of one of the Megalodons. They get rid of the octopus and the various creatures. And even though Jonas tells Mei Ling to go up in this lighthouse thing and never leave, she does. Because sometimes you have to help. Get that. And then the uncle, is able to redirect Haki, or whatever, Hachi, to some dolphins. And then he and Jonas argue, it was, she just sold the dolphins. No, she obeyed my command. Dolphins. She obeyed my command. I'm like, anyone think that she obeyed his command and went to the dolphins? That's what it seemed like to me. Who knows? Because I don't think there'd be any cause to just, I'm going to eat you. Dolphins. It doesn't really make much sense. Oh, no, I admit it. Sorry. Maybe the signal redirected it to the dolphin. You ever think of that? Then we end with a little party on the beach as they celebrate. That's the end. They talk about, it went out to mate. Maybe it's pregnant. Oh, let's not worry about that now. That's for a sequel. There's no credit scene or anything, but it was good. I'm gonna give it a very low, pretty good. I enjoyed it, and this is another case of a lot of people were down on this, a lot of people were negative, and so I think this could be in the worst of the year. And I watched this, and I went, "What's wrong with people? This is actually a good movie." And then I watched a couple of reviews, and like, "Oh, the first half of this is boring. There's too much human talk, too much human thing. We don't go to a movie like this to see this." And I'm like, they do realize it's based on a book, right? And the book has stuff like this in it. It's not just, oh, we decided to make big shark movie and Jason Statham's going to be the main character. No, it's based off of novels. So you have to kind of put that in your mind too. So I'm just saying, and I for one would welcome a third film. Just saying. So, what are your thoughts on Meg 2, The Trench? Let me comment below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.